And as we deal with the rising number of deaths from the pandemic, it's important to remember that there's a different group of people who have also lost loved ones at a higher rate than we've ever seen in Kern County. This year, homicides in Kern County reaching an all-time high. And 23 ABC's Jessica Harrington taking a deeper look into why our local officials think we've seen such an increase.
And the suspect was ultimately pronounced deceased at the scene.
Time and time again.
Male subject was pronounced at the scene.
We've heard those words.
One subject was pronounced deceased at the scene.
People losing their life because of violence in Kern County.
Well, I'm really disappointed about the numbers this year and the loss of life.
Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer saying this year, especially compared to last year, has been deadly. In 2019, there were 99 total homicides across the county. This year, we've seen 136 homicides, up 37%.
That's something that is very sad and, again, very disappointing.
2020 proving to be the deadliest year in Kern County's history. Previously, 2018 was the deadliest year with 114 homicides. Zimmer says pinpointing a cause is hard to do, but there are some factors she believes are adding to the violence, like a rise in our population.
So when your population goes up, the amount of violence will go up statistically.
Beyond that, she says gang tensions are high. In Kern County, law enforcement says gang violence accounts for nearly half of all homicides. Zimmer believes this year, with stimulus checks, employment development department fraud, and the early release of inmates, it's created the perfect storm for violence.
The money has gravitated into the hands of gang members. So they're flush with money. Drug sales are up. Gun possession is up. And those things, arguments over drug sales and then possession of guns, lead to homicides.
There was no really turning point, but we're having multiple victims of shootings.
Sheriff Donnie Youngblood says he believes the pandemic is partially to blame.
People are locked in. They're staying at home. That can't be good for people getting along. I mean, you have to be able to get out. You can't spend your time with just one person or two people or three people all the time. So we know that that's a factor.
He also says a lack of funding has made it hard for the sheriff's office to suppress gang violence before it happens. At one time, the gang unit task force had 20 people in it, but to save money, many of the positions sat vacant. Before it was eliminated in 2019, there were only 3 officers left in it.
It is pretty traumatic to have that many homicides in a community this size. It really demonstrates the violent crime, the violent type of people we have in our community.
The Bakersfield Police Department says it hasn't seen a spike in homicides in their jurisdiction. So far this year, they've had 41 homicides compared to 34 last year. Despite that, they say they know what happens around the county can impact them, so they pay close attention.
2 rival gangs going at each other. That's tending to be a common one where you'll see a spike in violence. It's definitely something we pay attention to, try to figure out the causation, try to figure out the people involved in this, try to involve community partnerships to hopefully work on this from different ends to try to stop this.
Beyond their efforts to slow the violence, DA Zimmer and Sheriff Youngblood say they both have concerns about the lasting effects of the pandemic and how that can shape our youth moving forward.
Children that haven't been in school, that haven't been able to socialize with other children, play, do the things that normal children do, I think there's a heavy price to pay for that.
Children are not in school. That is a problem. They are not busy with sports, athletics, and things that can keep them out of gangs.
While there are concerns about the effects in the years to come, local law enforcement reiterating it will take a collective effort from people around the county to make a lasting change.
I think that when this community decides that they're not going to tolerate gangs anymore, including family members, we can slow it, we can stop it. But until then, I don't see a real bright result.
People still care. This is still a good community. This is still a law-abiding community. People care. But there's just a lot going on right now. People are having to deal with teaching their own children. They can't go to school. It's a hard time right now, but we're going to get through it. I think we will turn the corner.
Both the Bakersfield Police Department and the Kern County Sheriff's Office say as of now, more than half of their homicide cases from this year have been closed by making an arrest or case clearance. Case clearance can include things like a homicide being determined as justified, an arrest warrant being issued for the suspect, or the primary suspect being deceased. For more from the district attorney, the Kern County Sheriff, and the Bakersfield Police Department on homicides this year, head to our website, turnto23.com. In Bakersfield, Jessica Harrington, 23 ABC, connecting you.